Yo, what is up, Crocs and clan members, Poke fans, and others who stumbled upon this video? I'm SoresanCrockxen, and today I'm going to be doing a viewer requested video on potential difference or a potential sequel to Pokemon X and Y. Let's go. Okay, so Desert100 asked me to talk about this, whether like a discussion video essentially about the potential of having Pokemon Z versus Pokemon X2 or Y and Y2. So I personally go along the route of Pokemon Z. When Black and White 2 came out, was my vision. I was one of those that did expect the Pokemon Gray. I'm pretty sure everybody expected Pokemon Gray, but I can see why Black and White 2, like we had Black 2, White 2. I can see why. As if everybody remembers from Pokemon Black and White, the story. I still say this: Black and White has the best storyline of any Pokemon game. Of course, I haven't beaten Oris yet, so I don't know how well they're gonna differentiate the story this time from the originals. But to me, Pokemon Black and White have the best story. The way they set up the story and the way they had it work was, hey, you have to capture the legendary so you can face N with the opposite legendary. Like, you have to have it. So when Black and White 2 came out and they decided to make it a sequel to that, you needed two games because, well, depending on which version you bought first, the story's going to be different. Because if you had White, you caught Zekrom. If you had Black, you had Reshiram. So that would mean that N had the opposite. So in White, N had Reshiram, and in Black, he had Zekrom. So you needed to have a separate game following that storyline, because whichever one you got means that Kyurem is gonna fuse with the one that N had, and that's gonna be your Pokemon. So I can see why they did it that way. Pokemon Z or Pokemon X and Y, it doesn't have. Like, I will say this: Pokemon X and Y story was pretty bad. Like, it was atrocious. Like, it was a huge downgrade. Okay, like I felt like it was a huge disappointment. I mean, considering Black and White and Black and White 2 were just amazing story wise, they were great, and then X and Y was just kind of meh. I really don't see any reason to have the opposite or like a follow up to that storyline, because there's only one legendary in depending on what version you got. So it's either X, you caught Xerneas because Xerneas is the one that comes out of the cocoon, or Yveltal that comes out of the cocoon in Y. So there's the other legendary doesn't show up in there, so there's really no conflict. So if you do a Pokemon Z, you both can show up and then focus on Zygarde. Because the thing that bothers me, it bothers everybody, Zygarde is crap. It's a piece of crap. It's truly it boggles the mind when Xerneas, and I'm pretty sure if you work around it, Yveltal to an extent can kick Zygarde's ass. Like, straight up. That was the thing that happened with Kyurem as well. I'm pretty sure that Kyurem is the weakest of the three, but then they got the fusion, White Kyurem and Black Kyurem, and then it's now the strongest because it's not like Kyurem is the original dragon. So because now he doesn't have that other part, he's weaker. So it makes sense that does it. Zygarde doesn't have that. There's no reason for Zygarde to be weaker than Xerneas and Yveltal. That makes absolutely no sense for that to be a thing. So, like I said, there people are saying, oh, make it X2 and Y2 so you can have Zygarde, Mega Zygarde X and Mega Zygarde Y. Why do you need two Megas for this thing? There's really no purpose of doing that. Just give it a Mega. In fact, you could go this route. You could go, okay. I know I've said this before. I still felt like legendaries, except for man-made, Mewtwo, Genesect, should have primal forms. Now I know that there's not a thing. Latios and Latias, Diancie, and Rayquaza all have megas, and they're legendaries. Go with the primal form for Zygarde. He's supposed to be the order Pokemon. Have it go back to its roots as the ruler of the world's balance. Just I don't know. I just if it's either that or just just a typical Mega and then like but it can only it should only have one. So Pokemon, that's why Pokemon X, I would go with Pokemon Z because then you can just have that and then centralize the story on Zygarde's past. Uh, make it kind of like Giratina. Giratina was just it actually could stand up to Palkia and Dialga. It could do that. Okay. Pokemon Platinum center excuse me centered around Giratina's powers and the whole distortion world. So go. I mean, yes, Cyrus was trying to get Palkia and Dialga, but the central storyline was around Giratina being the ruler of the underworld and how it controlled the balance between the underworld and the overworld. So like something bad happens in Sinnoh, like or in the regular world, it's gonna have an imbalance in the underworld and distortion world, and so it has to come and try to fix it. So yes, Palkia and Dialga were the real targets, but Giratina is the thing that made it all work out in the end. Like Giratina is the one that stepped in to try to fix everything. So then the story shifted from hey, here's freaking Palkia or Dialga, and we have to stop it from going on a rampage. We have to go into the distortion world to save Cyrus and kind of calm down Giratina. The story shifted. So they could do that with Pokemon Z. Have a central theme. Have like maybe like I said, just a different version of the X and Y story. Not a sequel. Just a different story where Lysandre is either trying to capture or he had found either Xerneas or Yveltal, and then the other one just happens to be around, and then it's gonna cause an imbalance of pure destruction, death, Yveltal, and then the flourish of life with Xerneas, and so Zygarde has to step in and kind of like shut everything down, and then it's like this conflict between Lysandre and Zygarde, and then you have to step in as the hero and just work around it. That would be cool. Honestly, Pokemon, take that idea. just because Zygarde needs to be the focus. Like straight up, Zygarde needs to be the focus, and whether you give it a primal or a mega, it should only have one, and focus on how that changes Zygarde. Like, don't try to split it off because it worked with Kyurem because Kyurem is half a dragon. Like he's missing his other part, so it makes sense to do the two versions. But for Zygarde, there's no need to have another form. Like it doesn't need two extra forms. It should only have one. So I mean like I said, even though I would prefer a primal form, I would just go if you're gonna go the mega route, just only give it one mega, because there's really no purpose in having two of them, because it's supposed to be one Pokemon that has the power to in one way balance out life and death. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts on it. Like there's really not like an extensive like crazy thought process that went into it. That's just how I felt, because I kept seeing people talk about why Pokemon X2 and Y2 should be a thing, but the whole double megas is just not really appealing to me personally. Just for Zygarde, it's not appealing. I mean, I honestly still am confused why Charizard and Mewtwo have two megas. It just doesn't. It makes no sense in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts on the whole subject. Desder, I hope that I was able to enlighten somehow. with my thoughts and stuff. So anybody else, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. What do you think? Which one do you prefer? Do you want a Pokemon Z, which is just another version of the current story, or like a sequel like Black and White did, or what? Leave it in the comment section down below with your own like purpose, your reasons behind it. Don't just say, "Oh, I want this one." Let me know why, because it would be nice to have a discussion. This is essentially a discussion video. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Later on today, I'm going to be uploading the results of the straw poll / the scheduling for the channel for the next while. Excuse me. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm SoresanCrockxen, and I'll see you guys in future videos.